Hello everyone, welcome back to my recap movie. An elderly woman discovers a gold deposit on her land, but she does not yet know that she is being followed by corrupt policemen who are eager for profit. An old woman runs into a mine in a pouring rain. She has prepared a memorial meal for her son who did not survive an accident in this mine. The woman tearfully says that his daughter Yang soon has grown up to be a healthy girl, and asks for a soul to rest in peace. On her way back, she notices a bright glint on a rock and realizes that she has found a deposit of gold. The happy old lady immediately calls the police station to tell them about her find. Officer Young reluctantly arrives to the call and scrapes the gold off the rock. He dismissively informs the elderly woman that she has found a yellow stone that people mistake for gold. The smile on her face changes to disappointment. Soon it becomes clear that miauw has deliberately deceived the gullible old woman. He returns to his car and calls his brother and soul. The officer suggests that he come to the village and hunt for gold. A former miner named Moon awakens from nightmares related to the mining accident. His worried daughter rushes into his home and reprimands her father angrily for not picking up the phone all day. When she sees that all his clothes are soiled in mud, she becomes even angrier. The girl begs her father to stop going on midnight hikes in the mountains and let go of the past, but the old man cannot forget the tragedy that took the life of his companions. On the way to the store, his daughter comes down and gives him some pictures she brought back from Seoul. They show him with Yang Soon, the daughter of a friend of his who was trapped under the rubble of the mine. At his request, the old man looks after, takes care of the troubled girl. The girl is not happy that her father takes care of someone else's child, but Moon says that she has no one else but her grandmother, and now he feels responsible for the girl. His daughter asked him if he is going to the mountains because today is the anniversary of the accident. To avoid upsetting his daughter, he lives that he won't go outside the store. Moon notices the very same Yang Soon being bullied by the boys in her taekwondo group. The old man first wants to protect the girl, but she easily topples one of the bullies to the ground. Seeing this, the other boys scatter and terror. Moon smiles proudly and calls the schoolgirl over to give her a homemade medicine for her grandmother. She notices the hunting equipment in his car and asks him with interest about the hunting rifle. Moon replies that it is a rifle, and he takes it with him always. The old man tells the curious girl to go home and leaves. On his way, Moon notices an armed group of men who are also outfitting themselves for a hike in the mountains. Dong, the twin brother of the police officer, has assembled a team of gold diggers, which includes bandits and even an officer. One of the gold diggers warns the leader of the group that an unknown creature with white hair is roaming the mountains, tearing deer to pieces. But Dog is not frightened by the locals' tales, for a fortune is waiting for him there. Moon and Young's car is nearly killed right on the road to the mountain. The officer warns the old man that a landslide has come down and it is impossible to climb up. His words seem suspicious to Moon, and he decides to check for himself. Entrance to the mountain is indeed blocked by a fence, but several cars are parked behind the fence. The man is still determined to go up the mountain. He takes out his hunting equipment when suddenly he hears the sound of a shot being fired up in the mountains. On the way to the mine, one of Dog's gold diggers shot a wild boar for fun. Moon decides to follow the group, intending to find out what brought them to the mountains. Once there, the team checks the rock with a metal detector. The sensor readings go off the charts, meaning that the entire mountain is full of gold. The men are thrilled beyond words and are already planning what they will do with their piece of the loot, but their amusement is interrupted by an old woman who discovers that the police officer has deceived her. She informs those present that the land belongs to her son. Enraged, she goes off to fetch help. The bandits are frightened that they will be accused of stealing on someone else's land and try to stop the old woman. The gold diggers try to negotiate, but she won't talk to them. An argument ensues between them, as a result of which the old woman falls off the cliff. Meanwhile, Moon shows up nearby and becomes an unwitting witness to what has happened. Events are taken back 15 years, where young student's father trashes a realtor's office. In a rage, they tricked his wife into selling her land in the mountains, which is uninhabitable at night. The sobbing woman apologizes to her spouse for all the trouble she and the troubled Yang Soon bring. However, the man reassures his beloved and says that he will work in the mine for a few more years to buy new land. And the next day, Yang Sudanese mother inspects her property, wondering if she has made a mistake deciding to stay on the land forever. She ends her life early. Meanwhile, in the present, Youngest sitting in the police station nervously awaiting news from his brother. The police chief detective's son is worried about Moon, the sole survivor of the mining accident from 15 years ago. He is concerned that the old man walks alone into the dangerous mountains and could have gone there today on the anniversary of the tragedy. The group of gold diggers go down to find the old woman, who is passed out after falling. The clerk June reminds the leader that the woman can claim her rights to the gold patch of land. Dog decides to get rid of her and stage the whole thing as an accident. The terrified crew silently allows him to do so. Suddenly the voice of Yang Soon is heard in the woods looking for her grandmother. The gold diggers immediately had in her action to get rid of the other witness. Moon also runs to the girl trying to call the police and Detective Sun but can't reach anyone because of the poor connection. Yang soon finds her grandmother's necklace on the ground and starts calling even louder for her. Moon manages to reach the girl before the bandits do and puts his finger to his lips urging her to be quieter. However, Dog's team quickly tracks them down and surrounds them. The leader of the group seizes the old man's phone and grabs the jewelry from young student's hands as he frantically plots how to get rid of the unwanted witnesses. The old woman's voice is heard nearby calling for her granddaughter. Surprisingly, the grandmother turns out to be alive and desperately fighting for life. Moon seizes the moment and attacks on. A fight ensues between the people present. Yang soon tries to help the old man, but in the course of the scuffle accidentally shoots one of the gold diggers with a shotgun. The shocked bandits rush over to him and state that he has gone while their guard is down. Moon manages to flee with Yang soon deep into the woods, hiding behind the trees. The old man writes a note on the back of one of the pictures. He then tells the girl that she must bypass the pursuers to the other side of the forest and pass the note to Detective Sun at the police station. Yang soon obeys Moon's instructions, runs away. Meanwhile, the bandits get on the trail of the old man and start chasing. But the experienced hunter hikes in the mountains every day and knows the area well, so he easily hides from them. After the fruitless pursuit, the group decides to split up and get rid of all the witnesses. One part of the team will go in search of Yang soon, the other will follow the old man, and Dog makes plans to get rid of the old woman once and for all. Suddenly the leader of the group takes away a gun from a mercenary and with all his might strikes with the butt of the gun into the bushes behind which Moon was hiding all this time. The hard blow renders the old man unconscious and plunges him into memories of young student's mother's funeral. That's when the girl's grief-stricken father gave him his wife's ring. It turns out that Moon's son gave it to her. They used to date, but the old man was firmly against their marriage. Dong informs his brother of the complications but promises to clear the territory of witnesses. The old woman reopens her eyes, repeating her granddaughter's name. Dong orders the mercenary to put a sack on her. The bandits order June to take out the old man, and they had deep into the woods themselves. The clerk is not enthusiastic about the idea and was shaking hands, points a gun at the man. Moon regains consciousness and mutters something in a weak voice. June cautiously leans closer to hear what he is saying. The old man whispers some bad words in his ear and hits him over the head with a rock after taking the gun from him. Moon goes after the bandits. The old man witnesses Dong meeting the main figure in the criminal operation, Young. He gives his brother Moon's rifle and tells him to make it look like he started the conflict and committed all the crimes. The bandits tell Dong over the radio that they are tracking the girl. Hearing this, the old man rushes to Yang soon as Dong returns to the old woman and ruthlessly shoots her with Moon's rifle. Yang soon stops when she hears her beloved grandmother's last desperate cry. The girl is spotted by one of the bandits and he fires at her. She tries to escape or pursuers, but one of the men manages to hit her. Fortunately, the bullet only slightly wounds the girl in the arm. She goes into shock and doesn't notice the bandits coming up behind her. Over the radio, Dong tells the others to get rid of Yang soon. One of them hesitantly points a gun at the defenseless girl. However, Moon, who has arrived, shoots first. He easily overpowers the second villain, who flees in terror, leaving his weapon behind. Moon approaches Yang soon, who is trembling and covers her ears with her hands. Seeing a familiar face, the girl calms down and cries for her grandmother. The old man hugs her carefully, wondering how they can get out of the forest alive. Meanwhile, Chief Sun receives a police report from concerned villagers near the mountain. It reports numerous gunshots being fired in the forest. Moon's car and several pickup trucks from Solar found at the foot of the mountain. The detective is angry at the hikers, who decided to go hunting during a tragic day for the village. Chief Sun orders a team to assemble and search the mountain to find the troublemakers. June regains consciousness from the blow. His partner disdainfully tosses a small shovel near his feet and tells him to bury the old woman. The clerk has no choice but to obey the order. Moon applies medicinal Monty Yang soon wound, which helps relieve the pain. The girl asks the old man to find her necklace because it belonged to her father. The man asks Yang soon to give him her black taekwondo belt and promises to return the necklace to her. Meanwhile, the bandits find the body of their partner in the woods and a dispute arises between them. They realize that Moon, despite his age, is a danger. His opponent. In addition, thanks to their slip-ups, he is now very well armed. Suddenly, one of the men notices Yang soon belt time to a tree. Dog is the quickest to realize that it is a trap and orders the men to flee, but the hunt has already begun and Moon shoots the leader of the group, wounding his ear. The bandits return fire and set off in pursuit of the hunter. Gunfire continues by the river. Hiding behind a rock, Moon shoots at his opponents relentlessly, but they manage to dodge the bullets. Moon tells the two bandits to sneak around the old man from behind while he draws attention to himself. However, the old man notices their movement and shoots one of the villains in the leg. Seizing the moment, Moon changes position and hides behind in a pile of broken branches. Dong and the others return fire, but all the bullets land in the trees. One of the bandits decides to go straight for the old man but slips and hits his head on a rock. Moon manages to escape unnoticed into the woods, wounded in the leg. The bandit refuses to continue his dangerous mission. He assured that they will not get a permit for blowing up the mine, and he thinks that further pursuit meaningless. Unexpectedly, he has shot by June, who finally gets his hands on a weapon, an opportunity to subdue the traitor dog, and the rest of the team set out in pursuit of the old man and the girl. Moon arrives at the spot where he left Yang. Soon discovers that she has escaped wandering through the mountains. The girl sees visions of her father and the miners. Fortunately, the old man manages to find her. In the meantime, Officer Dong revisits memories of the past. For the first few days after the mine accident, Moon's life was in danger, but he desperately fought for life. Once he regained consciousness, the man did not utter a word. At the time, Officer Dong was already a corrupt police officer and had stolen the insurance payouts of the miners who passed away. After hearing him on the phone talking about Yang Soon, Father Moon finally was able to speak. He was with the girl's father when the mine collapsed. He might have been the one who helped Moon survive. After all the newspapers at the time wrote about the miraculous survival of the only miner who never told how he managed to do so. Back in the present, the old man writes another note and asks Yang Soon to give it to Chief Sun. Together they head to the other side of the mountain to make their way down safely. The bandits are on their trail, but Don begins to have doubts. He recalls the words of one of the mercenaries who warned him about the ruthless white-haired creature that tears its victims to pieces. At night, Dong tells the mercenaries to prepare for a friend account from which not everyone may return alive. As night falls, a heavy downpour begins, making it impossible for Moon to locate his adversaries. The bandits get on the trail of the fugitives and open fire on them. They manage to hide behind the trees, but the shots cause Yang Soon to have a seizure. One of the bandits takes his victims in his sights, but his gun runs out of ammunition. Yang Soon desperately tries to protect the old man and rushes of the gunman, screaming, but he hits her with the butt of his gun. Moon, enraged, knocks the villain to the ground and wounds his head. June shoots at him, so the hunter dashes at him with lightning speed. He bites into his throat like an animal, intent on severing the carotid artery. Dong notices what's happening. He says it all makes sense to him now. The old man is not a man, but the creature that the other bandit mentioned. The frightened June orders him to shoot the old man, but the gang leader gets rid of the annoying clerk. Tired of his orders, the bandit with a wound on his face and a mad look points a gun at Moon, but Yang Soon rushes at him again and hits him in the head with a shotgun. Dog tries to hurt the girl, but she topples him to the ground with a taekwondo move. Yang Soon gives Moon his rifle back and falls at his feet. Exhausted, Dong aims to shoot them, but the old man shoots him first. The surviving villains are forced to flee. Moon throws Yang Soon on his shoulders and carries her to the mine, which is associated with his worst memories. He builds a fire and wraps warm clothes around the girl, but she does not come to her senses. The old man cries and speaks into the darkness of the mine, apologizing to her father. He could not fulfill his friend's last wish and take care of his daughter. Suddenly, Yang Soon comes to her senses. She tells him that she met with her father and he told her that Moon was not to blame for anything. The happy man cries and hugs the girl. Meanwhile, a team of policemen search the woods and find a fifth male body. Upon reaching the cliff, they are surprised to find deposits of gold and the buried body of the old woman who was trying to crawl out of the ground. Moon sets out again on a hunt to clear the mountains of bandits. He is distracted by a cry for help from one of the villains and falls into Dog's trap. He points a shotgun at his head, but the old man manages to intercept the weapon and pin the bandit to a tree using it. After a brief struggle, Dong manages to throw his opponent off, after which he brutally beaten. The man points his gun at him again and this time manages to get a shot off. The sound of the gunshot is heard by the group of policemen and they head deep into the woods. Young smokes nervously in the car and does not answer Chief Sun's call. Dog and his mercenary go to the river to catch their breath. The wounded bandit threatens the leader with a knife and says he has no longer going to take orders from the two corrupt brothers. Suddenly they hear some rustling in the woods and then a shot is fired. The wounded mercenary falls into the water. Dog jumps off as well. In order to get away from the shooter, he looks around terrified, ordering the attack hacker to show himself. At this point, Moon emerges from the water behind him. Dong screams hysterically, asking why the old man is protecting the stupid girl. The villain assumes he's doing it for the goal for Moon. These words become the last straw, and he shoots Dam right into his heart. Then he takes the necklace which belongs to Yang Soon from him. The exhausted and wounded man returns to the mine. At the very entrance, he is attacked by him, Young, and not to the ground. The corrupt policeman takes aim at the girl, but Moon grabs hold of his leg with the last of his strength. The villain shoots the hunter, and he falls to the ground. Yang soon runs to the old man in tears. Yang is about to take a shot, but Chief Sun, who arrives on the same, shoots him first. The rest of the cops fire several more shots, taking out the corrupt cop before shutting his eyes for good. Moon squeezes young student's hand and thanks her. The emergency services arrive on the scene, and Moon's daughter and son arrive. Seeing the old man's body, his daughter becomes hysterical. A policeman hands Chief Sun the necklace, which he takes to Yang soon. In the ambulance, the girl responds by handing the policeman a photograph with a note for Moon in it. Chief Sun learns that Moon's son abandoned Yang Soon's mother when she became pregnant. All this time the minor raised the girl as his own and took care of her mother. At the woman's funeral, he admitted to Moon that Yang Soon was his granddaughter. At Yang Soon's stepfather's funeral, the old man gave a granddaughter an ornament left by her real father. In her final message, Moon asked the policeman to take care of the girl and protect her from the cruel world. Sun looks at Moon's son with sadness as he tries to comfort his sister. Turning to Yang Soon, he tells her that her grandfather felt very guilty, but he was very grateful to the girl, and he adds that she must be strong, for there will be many difficulties in life. The girl replies with a confident look that she won't let anyone else hurt. Thank for watching this video.